Fighting games are huge, and I honestly love them a lot. There's just so much variety between them, and although they all have the same concept, there's so many different characters and variety of these characters. It's just so amazing, and it makes you want to play all of these games. Since I'm such a huge fan of fighting games, it's obvious that I've played quite a few of them. So over time, I've seemed to have, seen the different kinds of characters in each game, and some games do have similarities with their characters. You got your goofy characters, you got your serious characters, you got your main character, you got all the girls, and yeah, you got a whole bunch of characters like that. But another thing I've noticed in video games is that there are sometimes drunk characters. I know this sounds weird, but it really is a thing where people get drunk and then they try to prove themselves to be strong by fighting while drunk. And lots of video games has taken inspiration from this and made their own drunk characters who just pretty much flop themselves around. Like I've said, I've seen this in multiple different fighting games, so I wanted to go over the top 5 drunks in fighting games. The Tekken series has definitely had its fair share of strange characters, and one of them would definitely be Lei Wulong. This guy is a definite drunk, and you can tell by the way he fights, rolls around on the ground, and punches people with his arms flailing pretty much everywhere. He is of course a comic relief, but if you want a serious character, he's definitely not for you. He's been in this series for a while, so obviously fans must love him, but he's still an interesting character to play as. It's just funny to play as a drunk guy, I guess, with an awesome ponytail. Virtua Fighter is a pretty popular game that hasn't made a new game in a while, but is still pretty great, and one of the strangest characters is this very old man named Shun Di. He's very hilarious and a very, very drunk old man. You would think since he's very old and drunk all the time, he wouldn't be that good of a fighter, but he definitely does put up a fight and is fun to play as. His bright blue pants and his very long, majestic beard, he's definitely an interesting character. The King of Fighters has been around for a very long time, and the graphics are pretty old, so I do want to give you guys a warning real quick that if you do get seizures, there's a lot of flashing lights, so beware of that. But here is another old man, of course, who's very drunk, named Chin Gedetsai. I can never say his name, but I have played as him before, and he's very interesting. This guy cannot focus on what he's doing. He likes to cause explosions, and he always has some kind of alcohol on him, which he uses as a weapon. How else does he cause all those explosions? Although he hasn't been in very recent games, he still has a place in my heart. So I am a huge Dead or Alive fan, and I've played pretty much all of the games, and I have seen a lot of Brad Wong in these games, and this guy honestly makes me laugh, and he's just a great character, although he is a drunk, but it makes him funny. He's always with one of my favorite characters, which is Elliot, and he always messes around with him, and I just think it's so funny, and he's just this weird drunk guy who doesn't know what he's doing, and he's always, falling around because he's always drunk. His fighting style is just so goofy, I love it. He flops himself around, he's very uncoordinated, and it's very funny how he makes a whole bunch of goofy poses. I don't necessarily like fighting as him, but it is fun fighting against him because just seeing the way he acts, I just think it's kind of hard to control him whenever I fight as him, but I do like playing as him sometimes. A very unique character, which is something I definitely love in a fighting game, since some characters can tend to be copies of other characters in these sort of games, but he's definitely very unique. Although he is a drunk, he's still very funny, and I love his moveset, I love the things he says, especially in the story mode, so if you haven't played these games, I'd definitely check them out along with him. He's able to remain in pretty good shape considering he's an alcoholic and doesn't have a beer belly, so that's pretty nice. Just can't get over how much I love this guy and these games. I am a huge fan of the Mortal Kombat games, as I have talked about them several times, and that's why number 1 on my list is Boruto from the Mortal Kombat series. This guy is a big fat drunk who has some very funny moveset and very hilarious fatalities, even if they are a little brutal. Not all Mortal Kombat fans like this character much, but I honestly love him since he's funny and lots of the other characters are very serious, so he definitely brings something to the table, and yeah, he's not serious at all, but that's what I love about him. The first drunk that comes to mind whenever I think of a drunk guy in a video game, and he's the whole reason why I wanted to make this list in the first place. They're typically very serious and gory, so it's very nice to get some comic relief for once, and he definitely does the job right. immature and gross, but hey, that's something I've been wanting to see for a while, I guess. But that's why Boruto is my #1 pick on this list. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know in the comments below which one of these characters are your favorites, if any of them. And if there's any other drunk video game characters you know about, then tell me in the comments below too. Anyway, thanks for watching.